All right, welcome back. Welcome back. So, where are we at? Week 4? No, week 12. Let's check things out. No, we're week 14. I don't know why I stumbled on that. All right, getting down to it, eh? Final reading. I'm almost 100% positive now. This is your final reading. Yeah, I think it ends 2 classes early. Then we're getting down to your final brands. That's just like the other one. We're going to do it for all of them. You get a link. You just drop in your designs, make a little header, have some fun, close it out. It's a little portfolio of your pieces from the semester, 16 weeks of change. I love it. I love seeing that stuff. And yes, you did the one. This is the graphic design discovery. Then you do one for brand. Then you'll do one for media. And then your final one will be every designer needs to know. So as we just kind of kick those out, knock them down, kind of work our way out of the semester. We have a food truck to design, though. Before we leave, we have a food truck, and it'll also come with other parts and pieces. But right now, we needed a logo. And then next up, we need those 10 different versions of our logo, and we'll start working on the food truck exterior wrap. Easy. I don't want to say easy peasy. A lot of fun. I think it's a lot of fun. So I'm excited for it. So let's talk about, so today I'm going to go over my designs and I'm going to show you what I worked through. I did giant. I stuck with giant. I did giant. I stuck with it. I worked on it. I think I have about 10 versions. So you can see like what I do with my versioning. I also do it a little bit differently. So as I've mentioned, I'm starting to do more digital drawing, digital design with tablets and drawing screens. It harkens back to what I used to do. And it's far easier now to do it because I used to do it on a piece of paper. And then revisioning, I don't know, on pieces of paper wasn't as easy, wasn't as fun. And now I'm learning these new tricks and I'm loving it. So that's why I'm going that way instead of pure just like typography, I guess would call it. Anybody can do this. It just takes a little bit of practice. But let's check into that. So I did giant, and then we're going to look at the food truck. And I'll walk you through the food truck wrap, and we'll get started on that. So start in Photoshop. And I left off last week blazing through, doing designs, come up with new ideas, and then I took a break. This is full screen, right? Yeah. Walked through, did some drawings, did a little bit of this, did a little bit of that. Great. I was actually going to go with the wheel. And then someone was like, don't. I don't know why. My brain said don't. This really went nowhere. That was not good. I'm going to go up to this. Something at the end. I think over the weekend or something, I was thinking about this one a lot. The ketchup and mustard. And without the dog. Like, I know I came up, I think that was like kind of a last minute thing. Yeah, the grapes didn't make sense. The pizza, whatever. Yeah, the mouth, just kept pushing things. That's what it's about. When you're doing these, like nothing's wrong. Keep trying things. Like what leads to this, leads to this, leads to this, and have some fun. So I went with giant, and I went with the mustard thing. And here, all I'm trying to figure out is I was trying to figure out, I want it to look, if we did it straight up and down, it's like this. But I wanted it to make it look like it had more dimension. And so I was going for that, like, this. And so when you'd write it, hopefully it looked more like it was going away from you. Like it had dimension instead of just being straight up and down, because that didn't make sense to me. So I just started sketching out, doing some sketching, like how do I want it? And then I was like, okay, this might be it. And of course, because I'm doing the ketchup and mustard idea, I was kind of doing the cursive. So I got to that point. So that's amber 1. And then amber 2, I started adding in the squeeze bottles. And 1, I did 1 up here. And then what I was thinking to myself, and then this is the design process, is this one up here is way too big. Like, I like compact logos. That's maybe my preference when I design. And this is a personal preference. But if I want it to be used in a lot of places, having a big extra part way up here away from the main logo is too high. And so then I brought it around and brought it in here, and then I made it look squeezed, you know. So then I keep going, and just it's one on top of another, on top of another, on top of another, and you just kind of keep going. And you can do this with digital type as well. You can do this with all other styles, like, where do I move this letter? Where do I move that letter? So if you were doing it, I should open Illustrator. I will, just so I'm not being biased. We'll get to that file. New. Don't look. Create. So if I do, if I did do giant, and I have my giant, and I'm gonna make it big, and whatever font I pick. Quick. No, what the heck is that? Why do I have that? Let's just do corn dog again. It's just big and easy. But like this, if I kind of was like, oh, okay, that's where I want to start. But then I would do the type, create outlines, make a copy of it, edit, objects, ungroup all. And then I would sit there and I would do exactly what I'm doing with the drawing part. Let me zoom in. But I would be like, okay, these look good, like, how do I get those to interact? And then maybe, like, put that into there, like, kind of like starting like, well, maybe I make a weird puzzle. Oh, see, and then this is what happens. Because then this almost looks like the bottle. And then if I did, and of course I'd brown this out. And, this is going to look dumb, but I actually wanted to come over here, but so then that would be the condiment bottle would be making the tea or something like that. And all that came from is just rearranging the letters. How do I want the letters to look? And then I take that and I move that over there, and then I try another one. Like, what else can I do with this order of letters and getting things to line up, or where do I want them? And it's just playing around and making sure like what I have is what I want, and just pushing the bounds. Like, you never know unless you try. Like, how are these going to work? What do I move? How do I do it? So I do it in this way, and then I just redrew. So the blue, I just kind of redrew it. I cleaned it up, and I wasn't liking, I was starting to go uphill. And so I brought out some rulers. I think I cleared my guides, but I brought out guides and just drew some lines so I could get a perspective field, and then redrew giant using that. So I knew where, like, everything had the same heights, baselines, whatever. And I've got one condiment bottle, and then I just cleaned it up a little bit more. I'd call this, actually, this is version 1. It needs to be cleaned up. Other things need to happen to it. But this is initial idea number 1. And then I need to branch out. Okay, this is nice, right? It's nice, but we can keep going. Oh, that's too big. All right. So we can keep going. So on the side, I just listed some notes. 2 bottles. All right, what if I do something with 2 bottles? So we have 2 condiments. Dot of I in a bottle. So instead of having everything loop around, what if I just dotted the I? What if I crossed the bottles? Here's a little idea, you know, what I was thinking, crossing the bottles. And this was just a way, because I didn't want to draw it. I just wanted to write it out. So I knew what I had. So I'm going to push it forward. There's the second bottle. That's all I had to do. I just redrew it and then made it facing a different way. Like this is going away. This is pointing to you. It needed some dimension. I did another bottle. Oh, ending this here. Just kind of adding stuff. Oh, and then I wanted the cross bottles. So that's cross bottles. Still, you know, just trying to figure out what do I want. And it's just adding one, adding another, like what looks good, what doesn't look good. And so all these are versions. So that'd be version 2. We could do a version 3. Here's version, like version 4. And then I started getting crazy. I don't know. Yeah, and then so I started looking at the interaction of them and thinking, okay, if I have a bottle, yeah, okay. And this bottle's got the G. Then if this bottle has this T, it's also like, how are these 2 bottles feeding the same area? And I was like, okay, maybe this bottle just dots the I. And is this too many? You know, is it like ketchup, mustard, mayo? Like, how is that working for me? What does it look like? I moved that one down. So I do have 3 bottles. Like, do I want the 3 bottles? And I think I'm going to keep moving it. I was kind of happy with this. It seems a little busy. I don't know if it's because of here and here. I don't want to like make a W. Like you have the figure. I like the overlap a bit. But where did I go to here? So I think it needs some work. Oh, and then I separated this out at some point because I was like, if the G is now definite, this is that drop, and then I separated this, but I could rejoin this to make it read again. Because here it was joined and it didn't make sense that the 2 bottles would then be squirting out. And the color changes is just for me to know which layer. I label them and then I just do a different color, different layer, different layer, different layer. It's just easy with the drawing. Otherwise, everything's just black on black on black on black on black. And it's very quick to do. And this is just in Photoshop. So that's where I'm getting with my versioning of my logo for 10 different versions. I'm going to figure out the bottle situation, where I want that, because I kind of felt like it fit the big food. You got hot dogs, you got hamburgers, you got sandwiches, you know, whatever it may be. It could be any kind of sauces. Like even if it's giant pizza, you put ranch. Every people want ranch on it, and giant bags of fries and ketchup. And so relish really doesn't come out of a squeeze bottle good. But that's where I'm going and how I'm pushing that one single design into 10 renditions, because it really gets you to think about it and look at each individual piece and how is this working with the others? How do I move? What if I move this thing? How does it affect that thing? We're very easy to be happy with initial designs. I spent some time on it. And then what have I called it? I think the yellow one. This. But this actually, in the end, I was like, oh, I like it. But I kind of am liking now something here with, I might like the more bottles. I think it's funnier, it's goofier, but if I would have just stopped and said, here's my logo, I wouldn't have gotten to this point. And it didn't add much time. Like I tell you all, it's a few minutes, 5 minutes per, and all I'm doing is tracing over what I've done before. And for some of the bottles, I just copy and paste the bottle and just put it down, like rotate it and move it and flatten it. So you make it quick. Not every part of the process needs to be labor intensive, and make us all roll our eyes and say like, oh, I got to do it again. You're like, no, you're just moving stuff around. Just move it around. Just move it around. You got it. You know what you want? I like this. Well, okay, let's move it around. Let's make it feel better. Let's play with that. I kind of want. What if we join letter? I always love joining letters whenever I can. I think that looks cool. Now I want to make this something. Pop out that middle. Just, quick stuff. Pop out that middle. All right, I just draw a shape. What is that? What does he mean by pop out the middle? What if the A was solid? I'll come back and clean all this up later, but maybe that works something different. What if the A was totally filled in? Just trying things out. Now it just looks like a crayon. So maybe that won't work at all. But no, you know what? This actually looks more like a bottle now than when it did like an A. So now if I did that, it's getting, now that may look more like a condiment bottle. It's still a little bit big, but you just keep pushing it, keep working it. Try this, try that, try this, try that. Move things around, step away, take a break, and come back to the next day and be like, oh, what if I did this? Sleep on it. That's where, sleep on it. All right, food truck. This is the supplied food truck template. You can change the colors as you wish. I did this to just make things obvious. All right, there is the template, and then there's just the background. But if I had the background on here, I wanted you to note what parts I left as a fill, which are white. And if you're like, oh, I can't, just change it from the pink. I did it on pink because I was tracing over. I made this and I traced over a different truck, and I wanted to have it highlighted. And then I was like, I'm just gonna share this as is. You all make it the colors you want. It's lines and shapes. You just do that. File, select, same. If you do fill and stroke, and then you change that, and you can make it purple. I did the darkest purple. And then you grab another area, select, same, fill and stroke. And then you do this to the purple, do this to the purple. And you do that until you're done. You do 3 times, 3 or 4 times. So you can change it to whatever colors match. It's just showing an outline. It's not a big deal. This is passenger side, driver's side. Driver's side's all open. I sometimes run into this problem where then students put the logo right here. This is the serving window. So the serving window would close, but it's better to design with that window open, knowing you have this side of the truck, than to design it and being like, oh no, but the big logo will be there. But then when I open this up, what happens to your logo? It disappears. So this is the serving window. People are going to be standing here. Like this, yeah. How may we help you? So people are going to be standing there. That's where they serve out of. Those people are huge, actually. So please note that as well for the truck. Another note, you might as well do every side. Do the front, Do the side, do the back, do the side, do the top. You're parked downtown Milwaukee and it says, you know, Giant on the top of the truck, and somebody looks out their window and sees like the Giant logo on the top of the truck. That's pretty rad. I think it's cool. Like, why not? You have the real estate to use it. Well, not everybody will see it, but some people will. And they'll be like, oh, it's on the top of the truck. Oh, that Giant truck is down there, and then it had the logo here as well. So feel free to do, every side of the vehicle. It's A-okay. The other one I thought of, because I'm on this condiment thing, and I was like, oh, we could. Like, do I dare do something where it's, a big ketchup container on the top of my truck? You can, if you want to do something like that, you can do that as well. I never said, it doesn't say anywhere that it like, you have to, you can't go outside of the bounds of the truck. It'll have to be built out. Of course, it costs more money. Not a big deal, but have some fun. Do you want that? Like, oh, maybe instead of going forward, the condiment's going backwards. So we just see what it looks like that. Maybe that's better. So play around, have some fun. Start to pick your color scheme. And again, just like every other one of our projects in the branding, because we're talking about branding, once you pick your colors, you stick with them. Once you finalize that logo, you use that logo. If you want to create any icons, they all need to look like the same person designed the icons. So if you did, like if you wanted to show like little small icon pictures of the food, they should all look like one person did them. Not like one's a photograph, one's a cartoon, one's a drawing, one's this. No, they all have to be exactly the same in look and feel. That's if you so choose. Because once you're done with the truck, we need to do a t-shirt. And the t-shirt needs to match the truck. If we need to do the paper wraps and the boxes, those need to match the truck. Like, it's a complete brand. So when you do one area, you do the rest of the areas. I don't know. I think I feel like I showed you this. It's loading. I'll zoom in. Nope. Skip tour. I don't need the tour. I know how to use it in InDesign. All right. Stickers on a water bottle. T-shirt design. They did a paper wrap. They got like a cute little pattern on there. And there's the truck. So that's what they did. Menu board, that's coming up. So giant carrot on the top. All the colors match throughout. Everything matches, consistent in brand. If you see that piece of paper flying around as trash, you know where they got it. They got it from this truck. It matches. So you are, in the end, creating a brand. You're creating a whole truck in all the parts and pieces that go along with it. This week, let's focus on getting that logo really well established and then starting to work on how do we want the truck to look. Again, it's all you. It's your look and feel. It's your style. It should grab it should be attention grabbing. It shouldn't necessarily just always be it's like one color. The other part is this is generalized. So it's all parts and pieces. Work as that as your canvas, and you should be able to figure out how to, as you are designers, getting masks to work or relieving like what parts you don't want, just work in layers. You know, that's all you got to do is like recopy what I did. I want this to be green. Oh, I wasn't doing anything. You know, no. Just take a couple minutes, make your truck the color you want it. You want a green truck? Boom. Green truck. You know, simple things. You want that pattern, do the pattern. It's easier than you think. You don't have to like take all my parts and be like, he's got too many lines. Well, just draw a shape. Put that shape in there. So cool. That's all I have for today. And Thursday, I'm going to share more. I'm going to get further in my logo and finalize it, add all my stereotypical stuff I like to add to my logo. I'll try not to. A lot of layers. So, any questions or comments before we leave?
Yes.
All right.
Did you see my comment I made from what you made last week?
About
my logos, about my 3 logos I made.
Yeah, the 3 awesome logos. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I made 10 more. I don't know which logo to choose.
Oh, when did you post this?
I haven't posted it yet. I'm actually going to show it to you in a second. I'm opening it up now. But one of the students suggests I use the first logo.
All right. Well, let me, post it to the discussion board, and I'll check it within the next 20 minutes, and I'll get back to you.
Okay, I'll do that.
And I'll look at all of them. Even though those first 3 were great. If you got 10 more, let's look at all of them, and I'll tell you what I like best. It's also what you like best. Every once in a while, we'll have enough time with this with clients. When the client picks the worst one and you're stuck with it, and you're like, it's a good design, but I really didn't want to move forward with it. We're in the classes where you can just be like, no, my favorite one is this.
Okay. So, well,
there's some freedom there.
Those 3 were my favorite at first, and then I started creating more, and I'm like, oh, I like a couple of these too. So,
all right.
Can I just shoot it to you in your email?
Yeah.
I'll shoot it to you in your email, and then you tell me what you think. But I also said, I'm learning from the best. That was my response to you.
I did see that. I don't want to take that. So
yeah, you should be